Good morning. So, this is Geneva calling, and it's day 30 of my life challenge. And I'm so happy and grateful that I can do this right now in the earliest time that I've ever done it. So, maybe if you have watched me, you have seen that, well, okay, sometimes it wasn't quite uh, the Central European time zone that I was finishing my life. It was rather, I think, the Eastern time in the United States. So, rather Canada. And so this time, also the day in Canada has already started. And I just thought for the last day where I am remembering Bob Proctor, the leader of life, the leader of like here, life and personal development. I am reading you a text about responsibility. That is a good text to start the day. So if you're watching this, wishing you a great day, even if in the replay, let us start right now. Responsibility is a choice, and truly, it is the key to freedom. Your future can be everything you have ever dreamed about, and then some. You have the talent and tools to experience one beautiful day after another. And this is, in fact, what the architect of the universe had in mind when you were created. If that was not so, you would have never been endowed with such awesome powers. So, Bob's friend, that was Val van der Waal, wrote, when a person takes responsibility for their life and the results they are obtaining, they will cease to blame others as the cause of their results. Since you cannot change other people, blame is inappropriate. Blaming others causes a person to remain bound in a prison and of their own making. So yeah, when you take responsibility, blame is eliminated and you're free to grow. And so I was a little bit here. And blaming others causes a person to remain bound in their own personal making. When you take responsibility, blame is eliminated and you are free to grow. Those who haven't taken responsibility for their results and their life often find themselves in a mental prison. And in many ways, a mental prison is a much worse place to live than a federal prison or penitentiary. Mental torment can destroy just about everything that is necessary for a meaningful life: self-image, self-respect, relationships, and a host of other attributes. It will even cause a person's physical health to deteriorate. Responsibility opens the door and permits you to walk into freedom. If you find yourself confined in such a mental state, understand that there is a way out. Escape is encouraged and possible. The master key that fits this lock is certainly marked and is within everyone's reach. It is responsibility. It would be a fair comment to say that the people we have the greatest respect for are those who have accepted responsibility for their lives. These individuals rarely duck responsibility by blaming someone else. When faced with an unfavorable situation, they are usually aware they have attracted the negative circumstance and know everything happens. They merely learn for their lesson and keep reaching out above and beyond to the new frontier, taking responsibility for whatever happens every step on the way. Good morning, if you are watching. Hi. So I'm just reading a text about responsibility, honoring Bob Proctor, the leader of self-development, on my 30th life day in a row, and so delivering also on this challenge. When a person refuses to accept responsibility for their life, they reject their uniqueness. They turn all of their power over to other people, situations, or circumstances. They are then no longer in control of their future. They will be hoping something good will happen, but because of past experiences, they will very likely be expecting something that they don't want to happen. When you accept responsibility for your life and the results which you are alone determining, you will develop confidence that your dreams can be realized, that your plans can be carried out. Awareness of this magnificent truth is one of the greatest. It is not the greatest thing that can happen in your life. It's not the greatest. It's Aladdin's lamp, a magic wand, the tooth fairy, all wrapped in one. So Dr. Rollo May, a distinguished psychiatrist, once wrote, "The opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice, it is conformity. It requires great courage to take responsibility for your life. It's so much easier to blame someone else for something outside of you." George Bernard Shaw said, "People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, they make them." Shaw was right. Those who win big in life take responsibility and create their own destiny. Earlier on, it was suggested that responsibility brings with it a certain amount of freedom. For some, these last few paragraphs might seem life-altering. With a proper understanding, it has the power to free you of unnecessary mental weight that you may have been carrying around with you all of your life, guaranteed. This concept has been misunderstood by so many and has probably single-handedly ruined more lives than one can possibly imagine. Ignorance of this article will most certainly cause a person to experience the destructive emotions, anger, guilt, and resentment. And here it is. It's the vast difference between being responsible for something and being responsible to. It seems so simple, but don't let it don't let its apparent simplicity fool you. There is a big difference between being responsible for and being responsible to. The correct interpretation of this is: you are responsible for your feelings and your results, not another person's. You may be responsible to another person for something or another, but not for another person. The exception, of course, is when you choose to take on responsibility of raising children until they reach maturity. In that case, you are both responsible to and responsible for them, until such time they become responsible for themselves. At times, it might even be appealing to contemplate having another person take on our responsibilities for us. We could even trick ourselves into believing that they doing this, we would be more free to play, have fun, and do things we wanted. Without serious thought, it might never enter our mind that exactly the opposite would happen. When you permit others to take on your responsibilities, you become dependent on them. They become the giver and you become the receiver. Your well-being is dependent upon their generosity. Hopefully, at some point, it will become very clear that this kind of behavior only leads to a life of lack, limitation, resentment, and confusion on the parts of both the giver and the receiver. Nothing comes from the misuse of responsibility. When you take on the responsibility for another person's feelings, results, and action, you destroy their self-reliance and self-respect. You are responsible for all the results in your life. You are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible for your wealth. You are responsible for your mental state. Regardless of what happened in the past, the future lies ahead with an open slate, waiting to take control and create a wonderful life for yourself. So Winston Churchill, who certainly knew something about responsibility, said, "Responsibility is the price of greatness." So I'm having now for you a marvelous affirmation that can verbalize every night or every morning. You can do that when you're waking up, like now. And this is it here. I am responsible for my life, for my feelings, for my personal growth, and for every result I get. So that's the idea. And that was the article on responsibility. And yeah, so sometimes it's quite easier to read it than sort of to explain it in their own words. But yeah, I thought it was quite remarkable, that idea of really saying, okay, so you're responsible to something, to do something, but you're not responsible for also the feelings of others. And so often it happens that we are, well, engaging in, so we are also losing distance, and we're trying to make people happy. That is actually not working in this regard. And so also, I think a thought for us all, like to take responsibility, and it's a little bit like to do the decision, to have like do a firm decision, then have the power, and really having cut off all the ambiguity and go into the day and go it with full speed. And so and full speed and determination. And so that's the idea for today. Wishing you a great 30th of March. And yeah, so that was the idea. So from the on June 25th, I had the possibility to, well, talk live to Bob Proctor, and asked him, well, what should I do? Should I rather, well, concentrate on the job, or should I concentrate on helping people to go live and doing live broadcasts myself? He said, well, do them both. So this is a wonderful subject here you could talk about. Do 30 days in a row. And I did that right after, following the 26th of June. But as the things are, so other things came in, and after 7 days I stopped. There were 8 live videos done all the time. And as you have probably heard, Bob Proctor, died in February this year. And yeah, I felt that this is my also responsibility to, well, deliver on this promise, this wonderful promise and possibility he gave me. So I say thank you very much for this, yeah, great idea. And so the good thing is that his ideas, also his view about, yeah, human and personal development, stay with us. And he has given us so wonderful, well, it has not reinvented the wheel, as I said throughout the last lives, but he has certainly put all the parts together that we have received from all the life success literature, starting with this year, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill before. And the interesting and I would say also life altering fact is that here he brings everything together in his lessons about the personal development, that it can really help us moving forward and lead the life we want. So if we start with, I have always shown you, maybe I wrap up with this here, with this little overview that I have so often used. And I've brought off my little board here and showed you, like, we have also mentioned Mr. Van der Waal, who was the one who also brought Bob Proctor the idea that you have not only the mind, you have a conscious and a subconscious part. And it looks like this. So if you would say this is the head of the person, then you have a division into a conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And then you have the body. And this body then delivers the actions and then delivers the results. So the idea in this here is remarkable, because the subconscious is responsible for, at the end, all the action and, well, the vibration the body is in. So if the subconscious is, I color it here in yellow, is yellow, and the conscious would be here in blue. So you have some conscious ideas. You want to, let's start. You want a salary raise. You want to have like, you want to lose weight, something like that, or you want to achieve a big goal. Then what will happen? So the idea is that the subconscious mind at the end rules. So there are limiting beliefs, there is a programming, a conditioning that is trickled down in your system and sets your body at the end in motion and vibration. And so it will be responsible for the action and then achieving the result you get. And the result will certainly be not blue, even though you have like wonderful mental faculties. You can hear, you can see, you can smell, you can taste, you can touch, and you have these outside senses, and you certainly also have faculties like higher faculties that are like the memory, the let's start like the perception, the reason, the memory, the will, the intuition, and the imagination. These 6 mental faculties. But normally we are listening to our outside senses, and even though you could use imagination, most people don't trust imagination, so the faculties don't work. And what happens then is we get stuck. So we experience a knowing doing gap. So that means that so you know better, but at the end you do differently. And if it's especially a big thing, if it's like your dream, so most of the time, so always, then the body is in fear and in worry and in anxiety if it's just too much of a shock. And that means that your subconscious brings your body back to, let's say, normal temperature or to the normal state. And the normal state here in this idea is that it is the yellow color. So even if you're having a great idea, and this here would be in the conscious part blue, so you're not following up on this. So the idea then for the how to change your life and how to move on and to really have a life that is working for your dreams and you're realizing how you want it to do, that is to, work with the subconscious mind, also take in these 6 faculties that I already showed and mentioned, like especially the imagination and the memory, and work with it and rewrite the subconscious. And the interesting thing, what I've always found out also yesterday when I explained about how really for especially this book here, Think and Grow Rich, that was written in 1937, brings it in. Also this part of vibration. It is remarkable that already that this idea about the subconscious mind and about also changing your subconscious programming was mentioned then. And so if you read the book, it is super modern in this regard. So I don't even remember what I did yesterday. So yesterday I talked about, let me just get back. Oof, okay, so now let me quickly look. What did I talk about yesterday and what was the idea? So yesterday was confidence and how confidence and faith act together. And so Napoleon Hill, therefore I mention it, brought confidence and faith up as one of the most important things if you want to really lead the life you want and also achieve something. And how do you become more confident? That's when you start altering your programming and affirm it positively, but also get into the action mode to have like the right well, energy and vibration to start. So that's basically it. And I would like to just invite you to, if you're interested in that, to have a look at my YouTube channel, where you find all the replays that I have done from 1st of March. The idea was to call this Mindset March, showing you all the possibilities, all the aspects of mindset. And if you're interested in that, I especially like to invite you for tomorrow. And tomorrow is the big celebration of this 30-day Mindset March challenge. And it's going to be Thursday on the 31st of March, and at 7 p.m. here in Central European time. It will be 2 p.m. Eastern time if you're watching this. Probably a little bit for people are watching this right now more like in the Eastern time zones. And yeah, so are you watching this right now? Do you have any questions? What do you think about the challenge altogether? What is your idea? Feel free also to write it in a comment. So this is live here I'm here in Geneva right now, and I can certainly answer your questions right now. And let me also just give you some idea about like how this could move on. So I am also doing a webinar that is bringing these aspects that I just presented together. So if you are interested in this webinar, so you can also contact me, and I will keep you informed when this webinar is going to happen. And yeah, so hope you found this inspirational, and you found it interesting that that you've maybe got something out of it that you haven't heard of like before. And also it was a super pleasure for me to try out live video every day with another aspect, especially, for example, here you see how my little setup looks like. Here I'm using an iPad for also visualizing on the go. I have been using Prezi Cam for this showing you the slides live. And it is so easy these days to have a high quality live video and to be in connection with people. And this is also what I wanted to encourage you all about, and that you can really reach out with your purpose, with your mission that you're caring about, to a live audience. That nobody is needed, so you can also quickly switch with the camera perspective. You can also quickly involve some video source, and you can send this also live on so many channels at the same time. So this live video is broadcasted simultaneously to YouTube, to Twitch, Twitter, and certainly Facebook and LinkedIn. And so if you're watching right now, let me know how you liked it. Also feel free to let me to send a comment in this, and have a look at the replays as well. Wishing you a great 30th of March, and being super happy and grateful that this worked out here every day, and looking forward to staying connected and in touch. Have a great day. Bye.